Good. So welcome back to Gymnastics Insights. This will be the fourth episode. And as usual, your hosts are Oliver Bay and
Rasmus Steffensen.
And today we are diving deep into something that Rasmus prepared for us. And I think I've smelled something about technical walkthrough of different tumbling nations maybe. So yeah, let's take it away.
Yeah, so first things first is that I'm looking at 4 different nations.
Oh yeah.
We're looking at the Danish team, we're looking at the Russian Federation, we're looking at China, and we're looking at GBR.
Okay, yeah.
For this series. And what I would like for you to see is the difference in their technique, in their flow, and in their would like for you to think about the flow, how the execution is, and compared to the difficulty.
Oh yeah.
And for me, there is something very funny to find in this video because it's from 2017, where the Chinese team was still participating, and I have something written down about that, but I would like to hear yours opinion beforehand. So first things first.
So it's kind of like going through just also to see the technique that they use, what kind of like strategic decisions they're making towards like execution, difficulty.
Yeah.
Maybe also how picky they are about.
One thing we can talk about before starting the video is, if you're looking at China, I believe they're looking like machine-like mechanics and very stiff, but still bendy.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is very funny because it looks like they are kind of away in the aerial awareness. So when they're doing full straight, the head is out, but they're just hitting their positions.
Yeah, so it actually
with the carpet. So they've just turned it around to be perfect with their technique.
Okay. So what we actually in Denmark might, if we look at it, we might say that, oh, you need some more orientation, you need to spot the track here and there. They're actually using a different kind of aerial awareness technique.
For me, it looks like they just know about the full straight. So when the full straight is done, they're just going into the safe spot of the carpet. Oh, yeah. And after the carpet, they have this monstrous flick.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's one of the things we're going to look into. But we'll start this one.
Yeah.
And we'll start with the Danish Federation. And just oversee it, watch it. Let me know what you think about it.
Okay.
I have some pointers for you to see as well.
Perfect. And let's talk something about what we're seeing as well, so this episode won't be useless for people on Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well.
So we're looking at the training from Bulgaria in 2017 and for the World Championships. And what we're looking at now is just the technique difference and how the Danish people are doing the tumble. And then we'll stop this video after the Danish Federation, and me and Oliver would talk about what we see and what we enjoy about the Danish Federation and the Danish technique compared to the others.
Okay, yeah. Right off the bat, I would say that I'm definitely seeing Denmark prioritizing difficulty over execution. So if you... Oh, we have a commercial. Do we get sponsorship from this?
Yeah.
Awesome! What I was about to say was that I do feel like it's quite clear and obvious to see that the Danish team is prioritizing difficulty over execution.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the full straights, you see bent knees, not that pointy toes. So you just have like, instead of having a straight line, you have some kind of curved into it. You also see the triples being a little bit open, a little bit bigger than we would like them to be if they were executed with an E score of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is obviously training.
It's definitely
So it's different in the competition. It's a bit of different in competition.
of course. But I mean, if you just take Anas for example, he looks like this also in competition. He has these slightly bent knees. It doesn't go to say that he's a bad tumbler or anything. It just goes to say that it's something where we in Denmark, and I do feel that if you would look at video from today as well,
Yeah.
you'd still see this be a thing. So you'd still see that the Danish guys are performing a lot of difficult skills, but they won't be as clean as maybe some other nations who's performing less difficult skills.
Okay. So, what are you thinking about these 4 different guys on this track? I was there, Anders, Rasmus Gorte, and Adam Schaaf. So, what I took from this was, I feel like you can see a difference in who's been tumbling and only tumbling gymnast for all of their lives. So, if we're looking at Adam, his technique is much different than Anders, me, and Rasmus Gortes. Because of the tumbling technique for all time.
He's definitely more aware of how his hips are actually moving.
Yeah.
Like when he hits a bad transition, he's more capable of adjusting into how do I get from this bad transition into the next whip and make the next whip actually worth something.
And another thing is that I feel like in Denmark we have all been doing a lot of gymnastics, different gymnastics. So most of us have done something show gymnastics.
Yeah.
Someone has done team gym. Some have done all of these and also tumbling.
Yeah.
And I feel like the combo of all these things makes a great tumbler at the end.
Definitely does.
Because the team gym part, you get to learn all the big end skills without even thinking that much, because you don't have to do any transitions before. So you can just do roundel, flick, and then big takeoff to whatever, full and triple or killer or whatever you'd like. And I think that's a big improvement for a gymnast.
You definitely see that in the case of Adam as well, is that due to his tumbling career, he's always thinking everything in tumbling terms. So he will always try to figure out how can I adjust things going down the track, and also because his feet hurt right from an early age, so he didn't have like the feet to actually do the bigger skills or the high skills, high level skills. So his strength was definitely to place the difficulty out towards 3 doubles, or instead of doing like 1 double into a twisting triple or something.
Yeah.
But it's a good point that if you think only through the glasses of tumbling, then you would look more towards spreading out your difficulty instead of trying to go big and big. It's quite a few in tumbling, if you just look worldwide, that is going one big skill into one big skill. It's more common to see that you try to split out the difficulty. Maybe because it's also more safe to do so, because you have your difficulty, even if the end skill doesn't turn out to be that big, or you make some slight mistake that makes it that you have to adjust and make it slightly.
You can't
less.
make any bad decisions in that run.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm thinking, what I've learned in my time is, I was thinking a lot about, okay, I can do this round off, whip flick, full and triple pike maybe, or killer, or something like that. So my thought was, oh, then it might be easy with 3 whips.
Yeah.
So I converted it into tumbling. So I thought, okay, I can hit a full transition with ease.
Yeah.
And then I have 3 whips, so it might be easy.
Yeah.
But I have learned all these skills because I've just done thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah.
So for me, it was an easy transition to go over and do a 3 whip flick, something big.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference we have in Denmark. Like, what's it called? Fordel.
It's kind of like what is in favor of us.
Yes, and I think it's in favor of us that we have a lot of different competitions.
Oh yeah.
Because the Russian Federation are very, very good at something. You never see a Russian do everything.
No.
You see, at this point of time, we saw Vadim doing full and triple pike with ease.
Yeah.
You never saw him do killer.
No, that's true. That's true.
And I think that's the favor we have in Denmark, that most of us can do almost any skill.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely something that has been a topic in Danish gymnastics as well, that we don't want any blanks through your development as a gymnast. So we want you to be able to do double tuck, double pike, double straight, then do tuck full in, tuck full out, tuck full. So you have all of the skills building up to the bigger skills. So you actually don't have any blanks. So you fill in the blank all the way through. But it might also be why it takes, quote unquote, so long for Danish gymnasts to actually become
Great. Yeah.
Because they have to have all of the skills, where if some things just come more natural, like the full and triple comes more natural to you than the killer does. The killer definitely needs more practice to be great, where the full and triple came easier to you. Still had to work hard, but it came easier to you than the killer did. So I think what they're doing in Russia is figuring out what is your strength, and then they just play that all in. So they leave everything else behind, and then they just push on that strength. And that may be beneficial when you're looking at how fast we bring people to the top. I don't know if it's beneficial if we want to have the most well-rounded gymnast. We want to have the...
We don't want to have the most well-rounded gymnast. We want to have the world's number one in this topic. So what they do might be right.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to do everything. I just want them to be the best
at one thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I do feel like you have to, sometimes you won't hit everything as you planned, so sometimes you will have to adjust, and I do feel that our way around it with no blanks leaves more room for
gray
you to
area,
adjust. Yeah, so we have the gray area where we can actually go down and say, okay, open up the toolbox and say, what kind of skill am I going to use now? Where if you only trained full in triple pike
then you can do it anyway if you're a Russian dude.
If you're Vadim, you can do it anyway, and if you're not him but someone else, you'll just do it and you land on your knees instead of figuring out how to actually be able to do another skill instead. So I do feel that there's like benefits and cons, pros and cons for everything.
But the next one we're going to look at is, I'm holding the time.
That's good.
Yeah, so the next thing we're going to look at is, I think that the Russian Federation are looking at how are you built.
Yeah.
What is your strength? So do you have a lot of type 2 muscle fibers? Are you kind of a slow person? Do you have to make the whip take off very deep to get the full flight? Or I feel like it's quite easy to see in this part of the video, because some of these just looks like they've been told what to do with their body.
Yeah.
So just watch this one.
So we're seeing the Russian team train at the same competition, so it's just the training still.
So right here.
Yeah. I do feel that already just from watching a few guys here, you can see that... Okay, so now Microsoft is also updating. That's good. I mean, you can see that for me, this is just cleaner. It's not because its execution is that much higher, but I just feel that when you hit the track, there are no bent knees in this. So when you hit the track from your double straight, you are just tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Where I felt that some of the Danish guys were softer in the transition, so they didn't commit 100% to just keeping the knees straight.
Yeah.
And if there's something that we know is that if you hit the track with straight knees, you'll definitely be able to generate more force out of it. And I feel definitely, especially in this video, the Russian guys is doing a very, very good job at keeping the knees straight and actually having the track work for them instead of them working on the track.
Yeah, that's the thing we've talked about a lot. So you can either wait for the track to push you away, or you can push the track away.
Yeah.
So you are in charge of the timing. So if you don't go into the core bed even longer than you think, then the track will send you away and you will be behind the timing.
Yeah.
So if you go even further in, you are the man. So you're in charge
Yeah.
of the timing of the track.
Yeah, and I feel like the Russian guys here are better at having that timing than the Danish guys were.
Yeah, especially this dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like the timing on when he hits the track.
Yeah, and this is what I'm thinking about. So you can see he's quite not that fast.
Yeah, and he's higher in his takeoffs
Yes.
than Vadimus. Yeah.
So he's just using his force development.
Yeah. He's just adapting into the fact that he's not able to go that low and actually come up from the track. So he's just standing slightly taller into the track to make him actually have the takeoff he wants.
Yeah. And what I think about this is also, if you see the landings, no one of them is just afraid or not landing on their feet. They're just all so easy landing on their feet because they are doing it every single day.
Yeah.
To a hard mat.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that needs to change in the Danish culture of gymnastics. Is every training session we do is just going into the pit. We need more harder landings. It doesn't have to be the competition landing, but harder landings to actually get this mechanics in and get this confidence in our landings and also get this focus in every time we go. So when you are jumping into a pit, you can actually afford not being 100% focused when you go into the pit. Because if you have a bad landing, then you have a bad landing. You stand up and you try again. If you are jumping to a mat, you will unconsciously be thinking more about what you are doing and how you are doing it.
Yeah.
So it will bring more quality into your training anyways.
The next one we're going to look at is GBR.
Yeah.
Great Britain. And for me, this is the most flawless gymnast in the tumbling world.
Oh yeah.
It just looks flawless, easy.
All of them or one in particular?
Most of them.
Okay.
I feel like it's just looking soft and easy.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah.
And the execution is still high. So for me, Christoph obviously.
Christoph is a god.
Elliot at this point did the same.
Yeah. He had the arms though.
Yeah, but still very
but
elegant.
Else, yeah.
And Callum, I believe, was in this video. And yeah, we just have to watch and see. So for me, this is just flawless.
Slightly too quick on the upper body going out of the doubles for my taste.
Some timing, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Callum. They have another technique than everybody else. It's just looking flawless, easy.
Yeah, and they definitely have this focus on like getting away. So the upper body is actually allowed to go quicker.
Push, yeah.
Both in their whips, but in the transitions as well. And that's definitely something that is making all of their transitions on the track. So you have both transitions out of the doubles, but you also have transitions going from whip to whip. It makes their transitions a lot easier or easier looking, so lighter.
Yeah, lighter
on the track. Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing that Magnus Lindholmer is doing. He's also not too deep into the track. He's also like lighter on the track than, for example, Martin is.
And that makes it hard. The one thing is that makes it hard when you have to do big skills.
Yeah.
So you can always do a Miller.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you have to do full and triple or triple pikes?
And you also see that if you just take the British team, you also see there's a difference in if you take Christopher Wilton, for example, and then take Jaden Paddock.
Yeah.
They tumble in two different ways.
Yeah.
And one is doing a lot of Miller's triple tucks, where he's also like lifting the chest a bit
what
higher.
we'll call fingergris in Denmark.
Yeah, exactly. So grabbing his knees behind. But still a great triple, and it's very nice execution on it because his knees are all together and everything. And then he's also more light on the track, also going to his triple tuck. And then you have someone like Jaden Paddock who is more standing deeper into the track.
Building up.
Yeah.
Waiting on the track and then pulling.
So he's tumbling more towards what you see the Russian guys are doing.
Yeah.
Where Christoph is definitely a true British gymnast, if you can say so.
I like that more because it brings more things into a possibility.
Yeah.
Because if you have to do 2 transitions to full and triple,
Yeah.
then you can't just leave the upper body swinging.
Exactly.
You have to push and make a long whip and then wait for the flick to do the right takeoff. You can't do that with the fast whip flick. You can
No.
always do a Miller, something straight.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you have to do killer, full and triple pike, and that's what you need to do right now at this point in tumbling.
Yeah,
So
in 2024, that is going to be something that you need to add into your collection.
2 doubles to Miller won't be enough.
No.
So you have to do something bigger.
Yeah.
And I think that is the way. So for me, the perfect combination would be something between Russia and Great Britain.
Yeah.
And still Denmark because of the skill development.
Yeah. So if you take Denmark's focus on not having any blanks, so we know that other nations have had more of like what is called lost skill syndrome. So if you have a full straight, you aren't able to actually perform it because you've somehow lost the skill. And of course we have this disease in Denmark, if you were to call it a disease, we have that in Denmark as well. But I do think that we have less of that in Denmark due to how we actually build up everything. So you have like the building stones leading all the way up. So if you lose a skill, you have the skill right under that. And it's easier for you to build up the skill that you lost than if you have like big gaps in your development. So that system is a great one to implement. I also do feel that we in Denmark from this time, so this is 2017, and from that time until now, we have become better at actually looking at what kind of tumbling technique would fit your kind of body composition.
For me, I feel like you should train every end skill.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I think you should do full and triple tuck, full and triple pike, killer, and I think you should do even triple pike.
Yeah.
Do them all, and then become good at a few transitions.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be full straight, whip flick, full and straight, something, and then Miller straight, to something, or double straight, Miller straight, something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that's the best you can do because the end skill is quite easy for a lot of these gymnasts because, when you're good at tumbling, it's not that hard to do the end skill.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, both of these, if we just take Great Britain and Russia, both of these techniques has kind of like their own benefits. So Russia is doing bigger skills, but because of the way that the British gymnasts are tumbling and how light they are on the track, they always got a very high execution score.
Yeah.
Because they're so fast on the track, so it's very hard to spot if they're bending somewhere because everything is going like that fast through the track. Where the Russian guys are more slow on the track, they're building longer whips, where the British gymnasts are doing shorter, more rapid whips.
That's until we saw Lisitsin and Vadim do the different part, just being light on their feet.
Yeah, exactly.
But now,
in this competition here.
This competition here, yeah.
So you have the British gymnasts have a benefit of getting higher execution scores, but then in the end, if that comes with the cost of not having the difficulty, then it might not be worth it if the other...
Because it makes it hard to build any bigger skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to somewhat... And that is what the tumbling is all about. Figure out how difficult can I jump while still being on point with my execution score.
We have to move forward now.
Yes.
We have to move to China. Not us, but we have to look at the
we don't
Chinese
have to stand up
training.
Oh yeah, okay.
And what I would like for you to watch and see is some of them are very bendy, not with the best technique.
Yeah, if you just look at the picture that is on the screen at the moment, it's like you see almost no Danish gymnast be able to perform this position in your flick.
But this one particularly makes him not worry about the whips and the transitions. He just have to hit something, then he can do this flick flag, and then he can do a transition again, hit something, do this flick, and do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not the greatest technique on the whip, but so this is what I mean, just very straight and still kind of bendy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this execution is not what I think is the most lovely execution, but for me, I feel like this is the most safe power tumbling you can do.
Definitely.
Because you're just laying there, hitting somewhat of a whip, and then doing the perfect flick, and then take off once again.
Definitely. I remember when, like, coming back to training from this competition, or maybe some years earlier, maybe, I was obsessed with this Chinese flick.
Yeah.
Obsessed with how much power they could generate from just their flick, just by being able to open their shoulders and actually go into the big arch, but still be strong enough to go back into the position that they needed. So I tried and failed miserably, but tried to implement that in our training in Denmark. Tried to get everyone to do that flick until I realized this is also something to do with anatomy. You actually have to figure out, is this possible for each and every one?
Yeah, and still you can look at how many Chinese dudes are doing killer.
Yeah, exactly.
How many Chinese dudes are doing full and triple.
Yeah.
They're doing Miller straight and some of them triple tuck. It's very hard to do the full and triple with that sort of flick.
Yeah, and you have like triple pike, but that's kind of like the cap.
Yeah. But we can also watch this. Yeah. And then I would like to show you...
So what I mean about how I felt miserably trying to implement the Chinese flick in Denmark is that I tried to push this flick technique on every body composition. So to do this technique, you actually do have to have the body composition to be able to perform this technique.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just put anyone into a training system and they will learn this. You have to be built for actually be able to learn this. And I also think that as you mentioned, this is the safest way to tumble, because you go big skill, like full straight, bounce a little bit, and then you generate speed again, and then you go into the next one. So you will always be able to go through your routine because you're always hitting everything mediocre.
You just have to hit something.
Yeah.
And then you can do that flick.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be a good strategy. I don't think it's the best strategy if you want to win.
Not at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
But at that time it was.
At that time it was very great, yeah. But if you look into tumbling today in 2024, you will never win. Like, the track has to be dog shit if that tactic is going to make you win a championship, because everyone is getting so good at actually hitting their shit.
Yeah, but we can see this world record here by Song. It's a few years earlier, but it just looks easy, flawless. He's not hitting the transitions as we would like in Denmark, but full straight, full Miller straight.
Yeah,
looks so easy.
Yeah,
with no power generated, just hitting something, doing the right flick, and then doing it again. So here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks very easy, and that's an amazing.
It's in slow actually.
Yeah, and it's an amazing pass. But as you see here, he's going like full straight, safety whip, and then he's generating power into the flick.
But still, straight legs.
Yeah.
And he's generating some aerial awareness there.
Yeah.
Looking at the track, something, a bit of a high whip, and then just that flick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good strategy for him. But I do feel like, even though this is a great pass, this is not enough to win at this point in time.
It would be enough for you to go to top 4 if you do full straight, full in straight, Miller straight.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you come to final 2, and then
you have to do something bigger. But
well, final 2 is always.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is throwing the dice. So
exactly.
I feel like if Song did
he could
full
do
in straight, double straight, triple tuck, I feel like he would get a lot of points.
Yeah, he would. He definitely would.
And he could use the killer. I feel like if it was necessary for him, he could learn full and triple and killer and everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessary at that point. So it's hard to say, but
and it's also hard to say if that would be the same technique or that they would refine his technique to do so.
Exactly.
So
But I would like for you to see this one. It's the same video, just Kalen
yeah,
from USA doing the same run, but totally different.
yes, that is totally different. Yeah,
I did the same run in Russia,
yeah,
almost thinking like Sung, just hitting something,
yeah,
doing the flick, hitting something, doing the flick.
yeah,
Not trying to build up power, but Kalen is known for building power at every skill.
yeah,
So you can watch this.
yeah, and almost.
So
Yeah.
that's so sad, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's the same run, but this is just, oh yeah,
yeah.
Sunday morning, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not even smiling. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No,
Not even
he's just-
smiling. So, like, I did this last night as well. I do actually think that Kalen his tumbling is more like the British way.
It
It's
is.
also a bit lighter on the track, faster with the upper body than,
I feel like Kalen and Caden
yeah.
looks a lot alike.
But Caden is also kind of adopting into the Chinese way of just hitting a safety transition and then going to generate some power. So he's
But I feel this part of the movement,
yeah,
so opening up,
yeah, he's doing that
is
as
the
well.
difference.
Yeah, but I do feel that if you take Kaylan Ludvigsen and Caden Brown, you see Caden more towards the Chinese model, like safety, generate.
Yeah.
Where you see Caden being more of the British way to be like, boom, right out of the track.
And I like it.
Yeah, I like all of this because it just goes to show that you actually can't do tumbling like identical for each and every one. You have to figure out what is the best path, what is the best way for me or for you or for the next person to actually be able to push everyone to their best.
Yeah.
So you can't just say this is the golden standard, this is the perfect technique. No, you have to look at your standards. You have to look at your technique, and then you have to refine it all the way through to each and every person that you are working with. So if you're a coach, you actually have to be able to tap into different techniques, different styles of tumbling, and apply that to each and every one you are coaching.
And by that said, we're done for this video.
And thank you so much for tuning in to Gymnastics Insights. We will be back with you in just a week, so stay tuned and peace out.